G'day and welcome to a massive edition of the MCDFNL A-Grade Netball Show. My name's Yeendy. I'm joined by Bendigo Bank MCDFNL Operations Manager Mitch Tinning, mate. We're only just, days less than, not too far away from the grand final. We've got some great games to cover this week in A-Grade Netball and a few twists and turns that we've seen in the final series, which has been fantastic and indicative of how this season's shaped up in the A-grade competition.
Absolutely, we had a couple of close games and a couple of games that we wouldn't have predicted to go that way, and another few games up for this weekend that should look really good.
Absolutely, mate. For starters, I'm going to say that probably the biggest surprise for me heading into this weekend is we've got preliminary final weekend, and we've got it without Maryborough Rovers. That just shows that a quality team like them to not being able to advance past second week is quite remarkable. But we will talk up the big games that we've got this weekend. We've got Trentham and Harcourt at Princes Park on Saturday afternoon, and the Saints, they had a good first week of the finals. In fact, so good that you almost look at them and go, how on earth can they be beaten after they absolutely dominated against the Rovers, who were a genuine premiership threat?
Yeah, Trentham obviously the team to beat. As you said, winning their qualifier 61-24 against the Rovers there, so that's massive for them. They're coming up against Harcourt, and look, while Harcourt, they only went down by 10 goals in their qualifier in the first week before getting over Voker, obviously, in a close semi-final, but should be a good contest. I just think Trentham too strong at the moment. Yeah,
it really is hard to find a way that they can be beaten, and we know they've had injuries and they've had players drop in and out of the side. They've got one of the youngest sides in the competition, something we talk about each and every single week, but it's just amazing that the quality of these young players coming through are able to stand up against some quality experience. Look, Harcourt come into this game with some great form. That win over Avoca on the weekend, when you talk about finals pressure, to be able to win like they did, there was only one goal separating the sides at quarter and half time, and then Harcourt edged ahead by 4 goals and eventually holding on to win by 3 goals. To win those finals is fantastic, but to head into a game against Trentham where they've really dropped the lead at all, full stop. I don't know off the hand what their lowest winning margin over the last 2 months has been, but I couldn't see that being under 15 goals. They've just been amazing.
Yeah, they have been, and look, Harcourt will need a lot of great form here to have any chance, I think, but look, Trentham flying at the moment, they'll be hard to beat. We've got the second one, we've got Carisbrook and Dunolly. Carisbrook looking good a couple of weeks back against Harcourt, beating them by 10 goals. Dunolly, meanwhile, they won fairly comfortably against Malden in their elimination final. Backed it up against a win against the Rovers there by 6 goals, so they've been impressive.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the winner against the Rovers is just that highlights where they're coming from at the moment. There was 2 goals separating the two sides, pretty much parallel to what we saw with the Harcourt Avoca, what ended up being the day after, and 6 goals was probably the leading margin of the day at the end. But Dunolly, you speak to people and you say, oh look, I think Dunolly will be a genuine chance this year, and they go, they comes across with a great surprise. But the way they've played their netball, and it all starts in defence, they've got a quality backcourt. Their mid-court is really starting to fire, and that enables their shooters to start to really get a stranglehold of the game. And they're just one of those sides where you can't write them off. Once if they fall behind, you expect them to come back, and we've certainly seen that over the weekend against the Rovers, and just their ability to keep fighting is really impressive. And to face the Carisbrook side, for me, they're the second best team in the competition. I actually think Harcourt are the third best. I would have loved to have seen Harcourt and Carisbrook sort of clash at some point, another point during the finals, but that could happen grand final day, that's for sure. But for Dunolly, they're the only team outside the top 4 to get this far, and they're a chance to. I think they're a genuine chance to beat Carisbrook on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. They're obviously coming in with some form in their first final, beating Malden pretty comfortably in that first game. And look, Carisbrook, while they won their first game, it was only by 10. I know 10 goals might be a pretty decent margin, but they only got up by 10 against Harcourt in that first final, so they could be a little bit vulnerable here, and wouldn't surprise me if Dunolly somehow got up.
Yeah, exactly. There's just something about how they're sort of the vibe around the club at the moment, which is really positive. Carisbrook started the year in fine form against Navarre by making a big statement, firming themselves as one of the teams to beat this year, and I think they lost to Trentham earlier on the year by 1 or 2 goals, so a very close margin. It is looking likely that we'll probably see Trentham Carisbrook, the top 2 sides in the competition, but at the same hand, I would love to see Trentham Dunolly, because the Rovers had to come from a little way back last year to make the grand final. Well, they had a really good year last year, but to make the grand final, they weren't one of the major teams to beat. But I would love to see Trentham get to Dunolly grand final because it shows just how far the clubs are certainly coming.
Absolutely, and it'll look even one step even further. You could see even Harcourt and Dunolly.
Yeah.
Don't rule that out completely, but look, Trentham, looking like likely winners, and I think Carisbrook will probably likely winners as well.
The way the water is sort of tasting at Goldfields at the moment, would not be a surprise to see Harcourt Dunolly, given that we've seen a few big upsets throughout the rest of the competitions in A-grade netball around the final series. So anything can happen, and it would be just typical of the competition that we do see a Harcourt Dunolly grand final, which is exciting. But either way, Mitchie, for those who get along there to Princess Park over the weekend and watch these great games on Saturday and Sunday, I don't think anyone's going to go home disappointed. I mean, disappointed that their season's finished, but they're going to see two quality games of netball.
Absolutely, a couple of close games predicted here, a couple of close games over at the football as well, so it should be a great weekend for people to show up and watch some football and netball.
Absolutely, and of course a reminder for Monday night, we do have the Berry Powell Medal, which is going to be a great night over at the Maryborough Highland Society, so we do look forward to seeing everyone get down there and be a part of what is a fantastic night. Mitchie, thanks so much for jumping on board, mate, and we look forward to what is going to be a fantastic weekend of A-grade netball in the MCDFNL.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.